The Second World War transformed not only the battlefield, but the very fabric of daily life at home. Civilians found themselves in a new reality. Their homes, once havens of comfort, suddenly needed to serve as fortresses against a threat they couldn't fight with weapons. How did ordinary families turn kitchens, basements and backyards into shelters capable of withstanding bombs and chemical attacks? The story of these adaptations is not just history, it's a window into human resilience and resourcefulness. By understanding the methods, strategies and improvisations of the past, today's historians and survival enthusiasts can glean practical insights that are still relevant for modern emergencies. During the early days of the Blitz in Britain, the government issued guidance on household shelters, but most citizens had to adapt with the materials and spaces available to them. Underground shelters were ideal, but not every home had a cellar or bomb-proof basement. Many families resorted to converting ordinary rooms into makeshift shelters. The first step often involved reinforcing walls and ceilings. Simple techniques like sandbagging doors and windows or placing heavy furniture against weak points could slow shrapnel and debris in the event of a nearby explosion. Families frequently nailed wooden planks across windows and doorways, creating a rudimentary shield against flying glass. These actions might seem basic, but in practice they often meant the difference between life and death. One of the most widely used adaptations involved the home's cellar. In urban areas where air raids were frequent, basements became communal or family shelters. Floors were often dug out slightly to provide extra headroom and then lined with planks for stability. Families stocked these spaces with essentials: water stored in barrels or bottles, tinned food, blankets and first aid supplies. Some went further, creating rudimentary ventilation systems using pipes or hollow shafts to ensure fresh air circulated, especially important when shelters were crowded or used for extended periods. This attention to detail in the smallest elements of shelter design is a lesson that survivalists today can take to heart. Adequate airflow and sanitation can turn a simple basement into a safe, livable space. In homes without basements, the adaptation strategies were equally inventive. Garages, sheds, or even under staircases were transformed into protective areas. Cardboard and wooden crates were often repurposed to form barriers or sleeping platforms. In many cases, families dug small trenches in gardens and reinforced them with timber to create temporary outdoor shelters. For those living in flats, public shelters or converted underground stations were supplemented with personal measures. Curtains and rugs were layered against windows to reduce glass shrapnel, and furniture was arranged to create internal safe zones in case bombs struck. The ingenuity shown in these transformations reveals a combination of necessity, resourcefulness, and improvisation, traits that remain at the core of effective disaster preparedness today. Beyond structural changes, ordinary homes were equipped with warning and monitoring systems. Families used gas masks, which were issued widely and kept them close to sleeping areas. Chemical-resistant containers and sealed rooms were sometimes prepared in anticipation of chemical attacks. Makeshift alarm systems, from bells to ropes tied across hallways, alerted household members of incoming raids. These measures highlight how survival planning extended beyond physical shelter. It involved preparation, awareness, and strategy. Historians studying these adaptations can appreciate how even small, thoughtful precautions dramatically increase the odds of survival. The lessons from World War II home shelters also extended into daily routines. Families practiced blackouts, where windows and light sources were obscured to prevent enemy aircraft from identifying homes at night. Meals were prepared with limited resources, and evacuation plans were rehearsed to ensure quick movement to safer areas. For the modern prepper historian, these actions underline the importance of combining physical shelter with procedural discipline. Planning and habit are as critical as walls and sandbags. Even today, one could replicate these practices in emergency kits, evacuation drills, and safe room setups, borrowing directly from the methods honed under wartime pressure. Perhaps the most enduring lesson from these civilian adaptations is the mindset behind them. Every step, sandbagging a window, stockpiling food, or setting up a rudimentary ventilation pipe, demonstrates a principle that applies universally. Effective sheltering requires careful observation, practical innovation, and a willingness to improvise. For those building modern safe rooms or prepping for emergencies, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. By studying how ordinary homes became life-saving refuges during World War II, we gain both inspiration and actionable guidance on creating resilient spaces with limited resources. In the end, how ordinary homes were converted into shelters during World War II is more than a story of architecture or wartime policy. It's a testament to human ingenuity and foresight under pressure. Each adaptation tells us something vital about preparation, resourcefulness, and the everyday courage of people who faced unimaginable danger. For modern historians, preppers, and survival enthusiasts, these lessons remain deeply relevant. Understanding them allows us to honor the past while applying its wisdom to today's uncertain world. If you found this exploration valuable, make sure to subscribe to The Prepper Historian for more in-depth historical survival insights, and share this video with fellow history enthusiasts who want to understand how ordinary people turned their homes into life-saving shelters.